There are places on this planet where reality feels unfinished. Places where the Earth behaves as if it remembers laws older than physics, older than biology, older than human understanding itself. Entire valleys where stones move across dry lake beds without wind. Forests where trees bleed blue sap that glows beneath moonlight. Caverns so deep that sound itself disappears before reaching the bottom. These are not myths told around campfires. These are real locations studied by scientists, mapped by satellites, drilled, scanned, photographed, and analyzed with every tool modern civilization possesses. And yet, after decades of research, the same conclusion keeps returning. We still do not fully understand what we are looking at. A mountain in China that appears to generate thunder from a clear blue sky. A lake beneath Antarctica containing water isolated for 15 million years. A desert in Chile where bacteria survive by feeding directly on arsenic. Massive underwater structures near Japan that resemble pyramids too symmetrical to feel natural. And an island where no bird sings because the forest itself absorbs sound. This is our countdown of the 10 most extraordinary places on Earth that continue to challenge science itself. Stay until the end, because number 1 is not merely strange. It is a phenomenon so vast, so mathematically impossible, that researchers openly admit they may be observing a natural process humanity has never encountered before. Before we begin, comment where you are watching from and what time it is right now. We want to see how far this journey reaches. Number 10, Mount Roraima, Venezuela. On the border of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana, rises a mountain so isolated it looks detached from the rest of the world. Mount Roraima is not a normal mountain. It is a tepui, a gigantic tabletop plateau with vertical cliffs rising over 400 meters straight into the sky. The summit exists above the surrounding jungle like an island floating in the clouds. Rain falls here almost every day of the year. Water rushes over the cliffs in silver streams, vanishing into mist before reaching the forest below. The rock beneath your feet is nearly 2 billion years old, among the oldest exposed surfaces on Earth. And yet the strangest part is not its age, it is what lives there. According to research published by evolutionary biologists studying tepui ecosystems, over 1/3 of the species found on Mount Roraima exist nowhere else on the planet. Carnivorous plants, black frogs that camouflage against wet stone, microscopic organisms thriving in acidic pools formed entirely by rainwater. For millions of years, the summit remained isolated from the surrounding land, allowing evolution to proceed independently like a biological experiment, cut off from Earth itself. But scientists cannot fully explain the perfectly circular sinkholes scattered across the plateau surface. Some plunge hundreds of feet into darkness. Others contain ecosystems isolated even from the mountain above them. Geological surveys suggest they were not formed by normal erosion, because the quartzite rock composing Roraima should resist dissolution. Yet the holes exist. Perfect circles carved into stone older than multicellular life. Local Paimon tribes call the mountain the House of the Gods. Geologists studying it have yet to find a more convincing description. If an isolated prehistoric world above the clouds sounds unreal, our next location lies beneath the ocean, where an entire ecosystem survives without sunlight and without oxygen. Number 9. The Black Smokers, Pacific Ocean. More than 2 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean, where pressure is strong enough to crush a submarine, the seafloor cracks open. From these fractures rise towering columns of black mineral-rich fluid, heated to over 400 degrees Celsius. They are called hydrothermal vents, but researchers who first discovered them in 1977 thought their instruments were malfunctioning, because surrounding the vents was life. Giant tube worms taller than humans, blind shrimp with light-sensitive organs on their backs, bacteria feeding directly on sulfur compounds erupting from the Earth's crust. Before this discovery, scientists believed all life ultimately depended on sunlight. The Black Smokers shattered that assumption completely. According to marine biologist Cindy Van Dover and research conducted through NOAA expeditions, these ecosystems survive through chemosynthesis, a process where microbes convert chemical energy into biological energy without any involvement from the sun. Entire food chains powered by geology instead of sunlight. But what scientists still cannot explain is how life first adapted to these conditions. The chemistry surrounding black smokers should destroy complex organic molecules faster than they form. Temperatures fluctuate violently, toxic metals saturate the water. And yet these vents contain some of the densest ecosystems in the deep ocean. Some astrobiologists now believe hydrothermal vents may resemble the environment where life first began on Earth nearly 4 billion years ago, meaning humanity itself may trace its origins to darkness beneath the seafloor. If life thriving beside underwater volcanoes sounds impossible, our next location is silent in an entirely different way, a forest where sound itself disappears. Number 8. Hallerbos Silent Woods, Belgium. In parts of Belgium's Hallerbos forest, visitors report something deeply unsettling: the silence. Not ordinary silence, an unnatural absence of echo. Researchers studying the area discovered that under certain atmospheric conditions, the dense arrangement of moss-covered trees and humid air absorbs acoustic reflections with extraordinary efficiency. Conversations become muted, footsteps vanish almost instantly. Even birdsong sounds distant and distorted. The phenomenon intensifies during early morning fog when moisture saturates the forest floor. According to acoustic engineers from KU Leuven, sound waves inside specific regions of the forest behave abnormally due to irregular bark texture, heavy moss absorption, and the spacing of ancient beech trees. But the measured reduction exceeds theoretical models. People standing only meters apart sometimes struggle to hear each other clearly. Local legends claim the forest eats voices. Visitors often experience disorientation because the human brain depends heavily on reflected sound to judge distance and space. Without it, the forest feels endless, as though depth itself has been removed. If a forest that absorbs sound feels unnatural, our next location contains water so ancient it predates humanity entirely. Number 7. Lake Vostok, Antarctica. Buried beneath nearly 4 kilometers of Antarctic ice lies one of the most isolated bodies of water on Earth, Lake Vostok. It has been sealed away for approximately 15 million years. No sunlight, no atmosphere, no contact with the surface world since long before humans existed. The lake was discovered not by explorers, but by radar satellites detecting a perfectly smooth region beneath the ice sheet. When Russian scientists finally drilled close enough to collect samples, they found something extraordinary: microbial DNA unlike anything previously identified. According to studies published by Russian and international Antarctic research teams, some organisms appear adapted to conditions of extreme pressure, cold, and complete darkness. But controversy erupted because several detected genetic sequences did not closely match known categories of life. Some researchers argued contamination explained the anomalies, others disagreed. The debate remains unresolved. What scientists do know is this: Lake Vostok has existed in total isolation for longer than modern humans have existed as a species, and something is alive inside it. If life hidden beneath Antarctic ice sounds unbelievable, our next location appears to defy gravity itself. Number 6. Sailing Stones, Death Valley, USA. In California's Death Valley lies a dry lake bed called Racetrack Playa. Scattered across the cracked desert floor are massive stones weighing up to 300 kilograms. Behind them trail long tracks etched into the earth. The stones moved. For decades nobody knew how. There were no strong winds during movement events, no visible human interference, no earthquakes powerful enough to push the rocks across flat terrain. Some stones traveled hundreds of meters. Researchers placed GPS trackers on selected rocks and waited years for answers. In 2014, scientists finally witnessed movement for the first time. Thin sheets of ice formed overnight beneath shallow water after rare winter storms. Morning sunlight fractured the ice into floating panels that pushed the stones slowly across the mud under moderate wind conditions. The mystery was partially solved. Partially. Because certain tracks still display abrupt directional changes and movement patterns inconsistent with observed conditions. Some stones appear to rotate sharply, while others beside them remain stationary. The playa continues producing trails researchers cannot fully reproduce. Nature revealed part of the mechanism, not the entire explanation. If stones moving across the desert seem impossible, our next location glows blue beneath the night sky, like something from another planet. Number 5. Vodhu Island, Maldives. At night along the shores of Vadhu Island, the ocean begins to shine. Every wave breaking against the sand erupts into electric blue light. Footprints glow, fish leave trails of fire beneath the surface. Entire coastlines pulse with neon color beneath the darkness. The effect is caused by bioluminescent plankton called dinoflagellates. When disturbed, the organisms emit flashes of light through a chemical reaction involving luciferin and luciferase. The mechanism itself is understood. What remains mysterious is the scale and synchronization. According to marine researchers studying the Indian Ocean blooms, certain nights produce luminescence visible from satellites in orbit. Billions of microscopic organisms flashing simultaneously across enormous distances. No one fully understands how the plankton coordinate these massive blooms with such precision. Some scientists suspect oceanic nutrient cycles. Others believe lunar gravitational rhythms influence activation patterns, but predictions remain unreliable. The sea decides when it wishes to glow, and when it does, the ocean looks less like water and more like liquid starlight. If an ocean glowing blue sounds magical, our next location looks as though it should not exist on Earth at all. Jiangyi Dansha, China. In northwestern China rise mountains striped with impossible colors. Crimson red, bright gold, deep emerald. Bands of violet and orange layered across cliffs, like paint spilled across stone. The Jiangyi Dansha formations resemble digital artwork more than geology. According to geologists, the colors form through millions of years of mineral deposition, combined with tectonic uplift and erosion. Iron created reds. Copper contributed greens. Sulfur produced yellows. The process is scientifically understood in principle, but not in precision. Researchers remain unable to fully explain the extraordinary separation between color layers or the unusual saturation intensity visible under natural sunlight. Satellite imaging shows pigment distributions far sharper than expected, from normal sediment mixing over geological timescales. Certain cliffs appear almost artificially painted, especially after rainfall, when the minerals intensify into colors so vivid, they appear unreal. Ancient Chinese legends claim dragons slept beneath the mountains and stained the rock with their scales. Standing before them, it becomes difficult to dismiss the story entirely. If mountains painted like rainbows seem impossible, our next location exists underwater and resembles architecture more than nature. Yonaguni Monument, Japan. Off the coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan, divers discovered massive underwater stone formations in 1986. The structures include enormous terraces, staircases, flat platforms, and sharp right angles descending beneath the ocean. Some walls stretch over 150 meters long. The formations look constructed, deliberately. Marine geologist Masaki Kimura argues the monument may represent the remains of an ancient human settlement, submerged after the last ice age. Other researchers insist it is entirely natural. The debate has continued for decades. Natural sandstone can fracture into geometric shapes under tectonic stress. But critics of the natural explanation point to symmetrical steps, aligned corridors, and apparent carvings resembling roads. No definitive evidence of human construction has been found. No definitive natural mechanism fully explains the layout either. The monument sits beneath waves like a drowned city, whose origin remains uncertain. And every year the argument begins again. If an underwater structure resembling a lost civilization sounds mysterious, our next location generates storms from clear skies. Number 2. Catatumbo Lightning, Venezuela. At the mouth of Venezuela's Catatumbo River, lightning strikes the sky almost every night. Not occasionally, constantly, for up to 10 hours at a time. The region experiences more lightning than anywhere else on Earth, producing as many as 28 strikes per minute during peak storms. Sailors once used the phenomena as a natural lighthouse visible hundreds of kilometers away. Scientists understand part of the process. Warm Caribbean air collides with cool mountain winds from the Andes, creating powerful atmospheric instability. Methane released from surrounding swamps may intensify conductivity, but models still fail to explain the consistency. Other regions possess similar geography and climate conditions without producing anything close to Catatumbo's electrical activity.